what's happening, everybody? We're back for a live interview series, and we have Isabel Anderson behind Boudi. Is it Boudi or Boudi?
Boudi.
But go ahead. You guys can unmute yourselves. Is it Boudi or Boudi?
It's Boudi. Yeah.
Boudi. Okay, I keep calling it
People gotta
Boudi.
call it both, and I'm like, all right.
She has one. She has one.
And then Alex Aronowicz, who is one of our good pals. He's been on several. Actually, you've been on has it been several or a couple of our podcasts with Jason Swoboda?
I don't know. What are we measuring by? Because several, I feel like, is 7 or more. Because I think that's why several starts with 7. So I think a couple.
Let's
I'm
say a
gonna go with
couple. Yeah, let's say a couple. Because one, you were actually here with us, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was awesome when we were trashing Hellboy, my favorite character. Terrible movie. Let's not revisit that trauma.
The latest one was like unwatchable.
Yes, it was
I was
horrible.
really sad. I really wanted it to be good. I love David Harbour, and he was like joyless.
It was just the worst.
It was the worst.
So this is the first time we've done a double team interview.
Ooh,
So
a what? Can you
so
say that
Isabel,
again?
you're being double teamed. I don't know if you know that. Well, triple teamed really if it's Heather and myself and Alex.
Too.
Yeah, so this is interesting. But Alex came on because Alex is the one who introduced us to you, so that's awesome. And Alex also said, "Hey, I'd love to come on and talk too." So that's why Alex is here.
I invite myself to things. I'm a party crasher.
That's right.
He helps me a lot with my doll business, so it's nice to have him here.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we love Alex, and he's a good dude. So we have a plethora, as Heather would say, of questions. Alex, do you have questions as well?
Well, most of my questions, we kind of had a conversation about it, but yeah, I got some questions. I have insider knowledge, so I got good questions.
Ooh, I see.
I like that.
Uh-oh. So now, not only is it a double team, now it's a competition. So this is great. I can't wait to see how this all pans out. So the first question we had for you, so what got you into becoming an artist? Where did your becoming an artist start? Were you a kid and you knew automatically you wanted to be an artist? Is that sort of how all this started?
Yeah, my dad's an architect and my mom's an artist, so it was kind of just, that was what was around the house, drawing all the time, and yeah, just kind of imagining life as an artist.
Were you?
My brother's an engineer, so it,
Black sheep.
50-50.
So were
wild.
you an artist, like a painting or drawing sort of artist at first, and then you got into like this toy design thing?
I made a lot of my own dolls, and then I did tons and tons of paper dolls all the time, and then like wood carving, and then like my mom had this huge studio with like rock tumblers, and we did basic enameling and soldering things together, and
wow.
Now my mom does like a lot of glass work, so I'm starting to kind of get halo effect of learning a little bit about that, but mom does kind of everything, so I kind of had access to like so much that I kind of did it all. And then my undergrad, I was kind of an oil painter, photographer, so I ended up being like a mixed media major, and my thesis in undergrad was video art, so I've kind of done the whole thing.
Wow.
Oh, you're a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and when you're getting out of college...
That's me as an artist. That's my art. I'm doing glass work. I'm doing art.
You're like, I don't know what I'm really like made to do. So, yeah. But I ended up kind of where I think mixed media really comes together in a really good way.
That's really cool. So you basically grew up in an artist household. So either you were going to become an architect or you were going to become an artist, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, my brother and I always talked about how it was like the worst thing we could do is become an architect, because my dad is such an architecture snob. So we were like terrified that would be our chosen career path. We just wouldn't be able to stay away, and then we'd have to like live up to its expectations. But
so you started off as an artist. You've been an artist practically your whole life. Did you also collect stuff? Because now you're sort of in the toy business. Were you a collector of things as well?
Yeah. So even as a little kid, there was this like very fussy doll store near the half-price books that I really liked to go to. So to get my comic books, and then I would go into this very, very fussy doll store as a kid, and these older women who ran it would look at me like I was gonna get my dirty paws on things, but I saved up all my allowance, and I would get these like Tonner dolls on clearance, or I would get kind of these like high-end collectible dolls on like the very cheapest clearance sales that I could get. So yeah.
That's awesome. So you started collecting at an early age. Nowadays, are you still collecting things? I mean,
yeah, I would say that working at Funko, it's like it kind of feeds your addiction if you're already into collecting. Like, because now not only do I have a ton of Funko, but I collect like hot toys, and now I'm doing ball jointed dolls, and so I'm collecting a lot of those, and it gets really expensive.
wow.
No, Funko and Hot Toys. You just hit like. You're at Chris's house right now.
I know, Hot Toys.
Funko and Hot Toys. Funko and Hot Toys.
Hot Toys are amazing.
Yeah, Hot Toys are the best. Do you have a lot of Hot Toys?
Yeah, mostly Star Wars. But I think about a year ago, I got my husband the entire set from Predators.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which is a movie we love, the one with Adrian Brody. Like, we love the original, obviously, the most. But of all the sequels, we love the one with, like, Adrian Brody the best of the sequels. So I got him, like, the full set of, like, all of the Predators. And there's, like, the Berserker one. And like, the tracking dog. That one was wild. And so we have, like, that whole set. And my favorite one is I have the Hoth Leia and the Bespin Leia. And those are my kind of, like... I had to have one. And then I have Jyn Erso, who's my other like favorite Star Wars character, I think.
Jyn Erso is like, that's the one that got away from me. That's one of my three that got away from me.
I know. I think I have the deluxe one. And then I meant to get the one where she's in disguise, and I just kind of missed out on that one. But Jyn Erso is probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters, like, of the whole franchise.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I love Rogue One. It's so
wow, favorite Star Wars movie.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
dude,
very. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I grew up on
I
that
kind of
stuff,
feel the
but
same way.
love
Like, I think it's got it all. So.
Yeah, I actually found my love for the movie. I hated it when it first released, but
Really?
I watched it recently and I really fell in love with it. So I don't know. It's interesting. It took me a couple of years, and it took me a couple of years to enjoy it, but I finally enjoy it now.
I think that's a lot of distance helps with the new Star Wars movies, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take for anybody to like The Last Jedi, but I guess we'll find out.
I like The Last Jedi.
Some people like it. So,
I know.
I don't like it, but some people love it.
I know.
Ryan Johnson or Rian Johnson, however you pronounce his name, I love him. So
He does
I
very
like
good
the
work.
movie.
He does very good. He does very good film work.
Yeah.
In fact, I just watched Looper the other day for the first time in years, and I really like that movie a lot.
Yeah, I forgot
Looper's
about
awesome.
how good that one was. The one that I really need to rewatch is Brick, which like I haven't seen in a long, long time.
Rick, I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm gonna have to look.
Isn't
that
that
one up.
am I crazy? Is that his?
No, I think that was
I
his
have
debut
I have a
film.
second monitor.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was
look
like
it
his.
up
I'm
right
like,
now.
oh my gosh, what if I say I'm a big fan of this director and then it turns out I like named the wrong one?
Such a fucking liar.
So I was just like,
No.
While we're
Let's-
on the topic of while we're on the topic of Hot Toys, Alex, are you a Hot Toy collector? Do you have a bunch of them yourself?
Guy, I always challenge you to pose offs, but I need to come down there. This
I know.
pose offs. You want me to bring? I'll bring all friggin' 40 of them out here. Come on, We'll pose off right now. You gone?
Let's
Isabel,
do
you're
it.
Done. It's
Ready?
A pose off show.
Hey, I'm so
Hey, I
down
can
for
pose
I'm
too.
so down for I'm so down for a live pose off.
I'm into it.
I have to
Okay.
go I'll go grab a Predator right now
Yeah.
in the other room.
So how did you get into the toy designing part of all this? How does Funko happen?
Well, as an artist trying to get into any industry, it's tough. I was working a lot of retail. So I started a grad program here that's local here. It's called DigiPen. And it was a really, really tiny little cohort. And I got really lucky because one of my classmates started working at Funko. And so she kind of got me like into the interview process. And so that's kind of how it happened. I got really lucky that I knew somebody inside. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But that's where I learned how to like do all the digital sculpting, and I was actually prepping for I was prepping for games, but I don't connect with video games. I really have always been all about toys, and I just kind of kept thinking that wasn't a viable career. But Funko really made it like a thing that I could do. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Well, while we're on the topic of Funko, here is one of your creations here. So this is the Thanos from Endgame, and it has the
My
removable
baby boy.
arm. Yeah. What did you call it again?
I call him my farmer's market Thanos because I did the standing one too, and he has this kind of burlappy texture to his shirt, and he's kind of gardening in his pants, and
bring it down to the market.
Mock-up of him with like a big straw hat and his little farmer's market bag and like carrots sticking out. Which, of course, I could never release that image, but it exists.
It exists. That's awesome.
I loved working on him. Actually, he was really fun.
So how does it work for you, being at Funko? Do you get to choose things that you work on, or are they just kind of thrown your way? How does that work out?
It's kind of a mix. So obviously, like, I'm a part of a team, and you want to pick up where you're needed. So sometimes I'm working on something that I've never really been a big fan of or never had experience with, but other times, you get to request things. So
That's
like
awesome.
If you're a huge fan of this one thing, they kind of try and keep that in mind. My leads are really generous, and they take a lot of time to like kind of take that into consideration and assign things to people that make them passionate. So
That probably is where they get the best work, I would assume.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think that like I think we all, even when we're taking on like projects that previously we weren't fans of, we try to think about that. Like we try to really dive in and do a ton of research and get really excited about something, because like that passion really makes the piece like so much more interesting. Kind of you get the little details that make it like a true fan get happy and like proud of having that piece. So
that's awesome.
So we actually have a question from our chat section.
Yeah.
So what's this name here, Heather?
I'm really bad at pronouncing things, but I'm going to say DV Rodriguez.
Perfect. How long does it take to design a Funko Pop?
So we kind of have a mix of, we have concept artists, and we also sometimes go straight to sculpt. So I think the Thanos was straight to sculpt, at least for the kneeling one. So, it's kind of on the fly. You kind of think like, okay, I'm trying to think of like a good example of something like the what's one? Like I guess the Thanos is a good idea. Because I'm trying to think of something that's not out. Sorry, that's
sure.
why I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, sure.
Because I'm like, oh, that one. Oh, but that's not announced yet. I can't. But like the Thanos.
Breaking news right here.
Ah!
Everyone's like,
I would get a very angry phone call.
Please slip up.
I'm trying
Please
really
slip
hard
up.
not to do that. But like the Thanos, for example, like I've seen the movie. I love that scene where he's, kind of caved in on himself, and so you're thinking like, okay, this is the prompt. This is what sales is telling me like they need. This is what Marvel really wants to see, and like how can I kind of bring my own flavor to it? How can I really pose this? So I really wanted him to kind of have like that kind of leaning stance and look tired, and so it's kind of you're designing on the fly, and it's really fun when you get to go straight to sculpt. So
So Thanos is my favorite character, and this is my favorite sculpt of Thanos. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that. I really like this sculpt, and it blew my mind because I remember seeing the glams of this particular Funko Pop, and I noticed that, I don't know if it was in the first or second glam, but that the arm removed. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. I really happen to like that. You don't see that often, right? Typically you see headless characters, but a character missing a limb is something that's few and far between. And I really like it mainly because of that. I just think that's a cool little addition to this Funko Pop.
Yeah, that was definitely part of like working with the project manager, working with Marvel. Our contact with Marvel was really passionate about getting this into this product. Like we really, really wanted to reflect this huge part of the movie. It's a really big deal that like he's like falling apart, literally.
Yeah.
So, and then he gets his, spoilers, gets his head nice and chopped off. So, we really wanted to like, I guess, like pour everything into this like kind of final Thanos moment.
Sure. No, yeah, you did a brilliant job on it. What was your favorite Funko Pop to work on? Or let's not just say Funko Pop, because
there are a lot.
I was going to ask, like, in general, like your favorite Funko product, I guess, to work on.
That's a really hard question to answer because I love so many things I've gotten to work on, and some were really big surprises. Actually, one that I recently was thinking about, I love. So I started working on the first Winona Earp Pop.
Ooh.
And I had not seen the show because I dismissed it. I kind of like saw another sci-fi show that was coming out at a similar time and kind of thought, oh, this isn't my jam. And so I kind of forgot about Winona, and I started sculpting it, and I was thinking, well, I got to watch the show because like she seems pretty kick-ass, and I want to be able to get all the details in there. Like I told you, we do a lot of research. So I came home and I started watching the show, and I fell in love with the show. Winona Earp is like the modern day Buffy, and I'm like a huge Buffy fan. So
awesome.
I was part of the like small group, like really pushing for like Winona Pop 2, and then my friend and I at Funko, we worked super hard to get that chase made where she has the t-shirt that says, I think whiskey made me do it. We were like, we have to get her in a sassy t-shirt. Like we convinced sales to like get on board. Like we convinced like the licensor to like let us do it. So like that was a really fun one because it was like I got introduced to this new fandom because of Funko and because of this project, and then I got to be a part of like kind of making the second round happen. So I really hope someday I can get all of them made, but yeah.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
I want to get to your product as well, Boudi. But before we go there, when you create you're a part of the team that develops this particular Funko Pop, like say Thanos, do they give you one like once you complete the project? Like is that like part of the show?
Usually like unless it's something really exclusive like a San Diego Comic-Con, like super duper tiny run, the artist, like the concept artist and color art artist and the packaging artist and the sculpt artist, like we kind of get to choose whether we want to have that piece. Like I think at this point, a lot of us have been like just collecting our samples for so long that we actually are like, hey, I'm not like the biggest fan of this. Like, would you want this? Like I did, like a sports thing, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if it's announced, but there are lots of sports boys. And like I had a coworker who was like a huge fan. So like, dude, like you can totally have like my sample. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Aww.
Alex, I know you must be down there because you're at the bottom of the screen. You're below us right now.
I am below. I'm below everyone.
I'm sure that you have some questions for Isabel. You want to churn a couple of those out?
Yeah, I'm going to churn one out right now because I want to talk about Lords of Abaddon.
Oh.
Because this is one of my favorite things that BIM Toy does. Like how do you feel about, jumping into this classic style of action figure? You know what I mean? This is like a really 80s style. And, I'm the older man here. Am I the oldest one in this group right now? I think I am.
I think
I don't know. I'm the old man of the group here. So this is like, this is my jam right here, mixing this kind of imagery with this. So how is it working on the Lords of Abaddon?
It's really
BIM
fun.
Toy.
It's a mix. Reese and I worked together on getting that Conan the Barbarian set like sculpted, and it never got released, but and we still cry about it a little bit. But I think Reese just really wanted to make his own kind of motu style on the side and really express like his full like kind of joy for that line and that style. So getting to work on the Baphomet was super fun. It's like it's a different skill set than working on pops. So getting it kind of creepy, getting it kind of scary, getting it like really muscly and like, you know, doing all these like kind of horror aspects, like the one that just came out, the Eviscerator. Like we worked for a while back and forth. He was like grosser, 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 and I was like, like I'm good at cute things, and I'm really. So he's really great at giving me that feedback, and it's really kind of that project, the Lords of Abaddon in particular, have been really really good for like stretching my sculpting abilities.
Yeah, those figures are really cool. How does that happen? You end up working with Reese on stuff for BIM Toy. Does that become a problem with Funko at all, or is that okay? Or
Reese kind of, because his business started a while ago, it kind of got grandfathered in. And as far as like me working with him on projects, it just starts out with me stalking him hardcore, and then like leaving him creepy letters. No, I'm just kidding. We worked well together on a couple of projects, those early kind of Motu style projects. So I got really lucky that he asked me to do a couple of these BIM toy projects with him. Yeah. So, and you know, I love working with Bottleneck, which is kind of like our umbrella company. So
have you only worked on the Lords of Abaddon? Have you worked on anything else BIM toy?
I also did all the sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I brought the sharks out.
I think those are the BIM toy things that I worked on. I worked on a lot of freelance for Bottleneck, but like the Puglu, but I think those are my two kind of big BIM toy things.
That's pretty cool. So did you work on all of the sharks? Were you a part of all of them?
Yeah, I can't wait for season 2.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, they're really fun. So Reese and I worked back and forth a lot again. It's a lot of Facebook Messenger, like sending pictures. How does this look? How does this look? And we developed this little base shark, and he's nice and cute. And then it's just a matter of me, like, I think I got like 1 or 2 a weekend done just for a couple of weeks, just trying to, you know, build them up.
Now, was he passing ideas to you and saying, hey, this is what I want? Or did you come up with some of these on your own?
So these are all from his concepts. He sends me, like, season 1, he sent me the concepts, the original concepts, which is a different looking kind of shark. It's a little meaner and kind of leaner shark, but okay. He sends me these concepts of like the little Sherlock Holmes shark, and I just kind of interpret it through like this sort of cute fat lens. It's like supposed to be just like a little cuter, a little chunkier than the original concept. And at this point, like, it's nice because we've done, I think, 24 sharks. So every time we do a new one, it's like less and less needs tweaking, and it's just easy at this point for the back and forth. So
wow, you do brilliant work. I mean, the sharks look awesome. Unfortunately, yeah. I do not have any of the sharks. I haven't picked any of those up, but I think in the next series I definitely will buy myself some.
The next series is going to be fun. There's some really crazy ones, so I hope you like them.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. BIM Toy, they put out a lot of really cool things. I really dig their work. We collect a lot of the tiny.
We worked really hard on that brand, so.
Yeah, we collected a lot of the Tiny Ghost stuff. So Tiny Ghost is really neat. So
I only have 2, I think, Tiny Ghosts.
Really?
Yeah, I have the Rose City Comic Con because I worked the booth with them. And those are like really.
It's like the Holy Grail one. Yeah, that's
the one that nobody can find.
Wait, is
we
that
couldn't give those things away the last day, and now we love that they're on eBay for like. We're like, this is so weird because we were sitting at that booth, and I mean, it was so slow that like he'd get up and go shopping, and then he'd come back and I could go shopping, and yeah. Now he has hours of signing to do, and it's wild.
Is that the one that's all black with like it looks like stained glass almost?
No, the Rose City Comic Con one, the original, was like bright pink.
It's like the pink glow in the dark one, I think, or is it just all pink?
Yeah, it glows in the dark.
Yeah, that's really
that is everyone's Holy Grail.
Yeah, it's the one that like I think is hardest to find.
Really?
It's weird.
Wow. Lucky
Yeah,
you.
it's really random. And again, it's like we crack up about it because it was like we had this stock to sell at the con, and you know, we had people walking by who didn't know what it was, and they go, "What does it do?"
It
They're
just
like,
sits there
What does it
and
do?
glows.
"It's a ghost." You're like, I don't know if I can swear on this.
No, you can.
Okay, yeah.
It would be interesting now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. He should have one that on the if you pick it up. I'm sure you couldn't do this because of rights and everything. Pick it up and it could be an 8-ball on the bottom. Like, what does it do? It does something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
But
I don't know.
I'm sure
Well,
you can't do
mostly
it.
we just found it hilarious because it's like people like thought it was like, oh, hey, you should make it into a lamp, and we'd be like, fuck off, like no, like
You should make a lamp.
Start your own company.
make like
Yeah.
a designer toy. Like, are you now like a designer? Like, go away.
Exactly.
So,
If-
like that. So many people who love to go around and they tell artists like, this is what you should do. They're like, no, then you do it.
It
buddy.
happens
What?
to me a lot too with the dolls. Yeah, people go, hey, you should do this, and I'm like, well, you wanna finance it?
Yeah.
Because yeah.
So how did Boudi start?
Boudi.
Boudi, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I know it's kind of a.
I
So
was
chose
calling it
that
Boudi
name
forever, by the way.
kind of in a rush, and I regret it because nobody knows. I get people coming up to the booth like really cautious, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, no, just say it however. I don't care. Like the RuPaul quote, like, you know, just I don't care what you call me, just call me. That's kind of how I feel about it. So sorry. I think the original question was how did it get started, right?
Yeah.
I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
I did all the in-house articulation for action figures at Funko, and after a while, I thought, well, let me try something different and like see what I can do. So I just kind of it started as kind of like, this would be fun, and then it kind of turned into like, all right, well, somebody gave me the name of their casting company, so check that out, and it kind of snowballed. And
I'm like, sell it.
yeah,
sell
now
it,
I'm
sell
like,
it.
my basement's got a lot of dolls, so.
They're cool. Have you been to like a con with them before? You said you have set up tables?
I've done 5 Points and Designer Con, which are kind of not like they're not like doll specific, but I really love just independent toy making. So for me, I don't want to really be just exclusively ball joint a doll world. I want to kind of bridge that gap and work on kind of everything. So Designer Con was really fun for that reason. 5 Points is so intimate. It's really cool. You get to meet a lot of people.
That one I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Where is that?
5 Points.
No.
It's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So
Okay.
it feels really cool. It feels like it's just a lot of like cool designer toys. Alex got me into it actually, so Alex should talk about it.
Listen, I knew about 5 Points Fest before you guys, you know, because I'm all up in Brooklyn and everything. But no, 5 Points Fest is awesome because Designer Con is gigantic. It's like a designer toy festival that's like the size of like New York Comic Con, or like
Yeah.
it's humongous, and you can kind of get lost in it. Where 5 Points is like one. You know the block. You went to New York Comic Con, right?
Yeah, I did.
You know the block. You know the block. That area where all the designer toys is.
Yes.
It's just like a little bigger than that, so it's not tremendous. So you could see everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
You can get through everything, and you can meet so many people just talking to them. You know, and it's pretty great.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
So you got to come to the next one.
Yeah, once this whole pandemic thing decides to
I
quiet down a
know.
little bit, I would love to go.
This damn pandemic.
Quiet
know.
down. It
It was
needs
the
to shut the
government.
F
It was the
up.
government.
Now it's going to turn into a conspiracy
different
theory show.
Hold on, where's my tinfoil?
I fully believe in some of those conspiracies, so
Oh no.
don't
Oh,
even get me started.
You and Heather could talk for hours.
Oh my
foil
God.
is my foil hat. And that's all I got.
I don't have any foil hats, but
So, what was the process of creating Boudi like?
because I've loved dolls for so long. you know, it took a lot of time to kind of like sculpt like a body and a face that I thought I could live with for a while. You know, that's being an artist. When you commit to casting and selling something, you're committing to like either a couple years or maybe longer to looking at this thing. So it took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted it to kind of look like. And I felt like so much pressure to like live that doll dream all at once. But I had to kind of let that go and just be like, this is just one step in that journey. So after I kind of got over that, then I started experimenting with different types of ball joints and articulation, because it's really different than the kind of mechanical type of articulation that I was doing for all the action figures.
Like hot toys and stuff.
What?
Like hot toys, you know, it's mostly.
Yeah, they're all kind of like, so the ball joint, the way that it's distinguished is it's all strung together with elastic, which is like a really kind of cool, like very traditional doll making method. I mean, I used to go to this doll museum near where I grew up that doesn't exist anymore because like nobody went except for me, like 8 years. So, and I still think about like, where are all those dolls? Like they must be in some storage unit. But it's like a very traditional kind of method. It's very old school to like, you know, string it all together. And so that's how like the pieces are kind of held together. But it's nice to be able to, I wanted to develop joints that mimicked the way that anatomy really works, that looked fluid when, you know, she was standing there or kind of propped or posed. I wanted it to kind of be the closest I could get to the way that the body really works. You know, of course, I look at it now and I'm like, oh, I should fix that, and I choose to do that differently, and it, you know, that always happens. But
plus, you gave a big butt.
I wanted a doll that was really curvy, and I didn't want to sacrifice like some movement for that. Like there have been dolls that have been put out that are curvy. You either kind of have to do like all this extra jointing that really interrupts like the kind of beauty of the silhouette, or you kind of, she doesn't move at all. And so I kind of wanted to see how much I could get out of her movement and joints and keep it really simple at the same time, because obviously also the other thing is the simpler the joints are, and like kind of the fewer number of joints you have, you're going to have a more stable figure. They can really like stand and kind of hold their pose and stuff. So and I just didn't want to interrupt kind of the smooth curves of the body. And so that's kind of how like I went about doing that. And I did several prototypes on my printer, my resin printer, which is the Form 2. And you know, I did like a 3rd scale, and then I did a full-size scale, and then I tweaked it again, and then that's my son that really fell off to China. So
that's awesome. So from when you started working on it until you got your final design, how long did that actually take you? Was it years or months or?
I think it was about a year.
Wow.
About a year.
You did it all yourself.
And I did it all. I financed it myself. Like I used all my savings.
That's awesome.
Normally, like ball jointed doll, you know, things. It's like they do pre-order so they can kind of cover the cost. But because I was so new on the scene and she was really different, I wanted to have all the stock and just kind of let it naturally kind of sell over time. So that's kind of what I've been working on with tons of help from Alex. I am horrible at social media, so he does like all this work for me, like doing hashtags, and I send all my pictures to him first. I'm like, what do you think? Should I post this? Yeah.
Alex is the man.
Listen, I'm a cheerleader by nature. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? I don't have pom poms though.
It's partly because I promised him the corner office when I'm like a big deal. So.
Yeah, for the empire, you know, it's gonna be.
Yeah, that empire is gonna happen.
I'm just gonna be in the corner, just chilling.
Yeah.
So I got a question. What do you think is the difficulty with having all of your stuff ready rather than what these other people do, which is have it financed to that point? What do you think the difficulties is between the way you did it versus the way that they usually do it?
I don't know I haven't done it the other way, but obviously I have a lot of anxiety around like trying to break even. Like that was never like the goal to like make money or break even, but at the same time it is in my head like, oh, I'll sell this many dolls and like to kind of like be at zero again, you know, like it's in my head for sure. So that like, and I think just because I've had the stock for a while and I'm getting better with your help at like, you know, like running my Instagram and stuff, like it just took a long time for me to even sell like a couple of them. And I was feeling like like, what have I done?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, because when you pre-sell, you're like, well, people have already bought it. I feel really good about myself. And then I just ship them off.
Right.
I mean, you have to hype it up beforehand and it's a lot of work, but doing the whole trying to prove myself, paying all up front. Now I'm like,
Oh,
I hope people like them.
yeah.
But according to Instagram, you've only got a few left in cocoa and tan because people keep buying them. What happened to Ebony?
She sold out. Yeah. No, I'm getting better with Instagram, and that's definitely Alex. He basically runs my social media.
That's awesome. So, well, it sounds like Alex is good at that. So you guys got
really
a good thing going. Yeah.
So could you
earning that corner office, my friends?
Could you tell us a little bit more about Boudi? I went to your website and it looks like you can choose the skin colors, but you have to choose everything else separately. Is that?
Yeah, ball jointed dolls are not like Tonner or Barbie, for instance. So that was also like because I started in like designer dolls like that. They come with the full outfit. They come with the full story and all this stuff. The way that people kind of do ball jointed dolls with resin, that whole world really is so much about like I buy the doll and then I customize it to what I want. So the doll comes with like very little unless people want it. Like I just had a customer reach out and she wanted me to put together like an outfit and do all this stuff, and it cost a little more. But so many people have ordered because they want to put their stamp on it. They want to do the face themselves. They want to pick the outfits themselves and all that stuff. But I should note that most of the time ball jointed dolls, they come like completely nude and you might get some like random eyes. But my mom was so horrified because she does all my clothes and stuff. She's my like right hand on this because I like have run out of just time in the week to sew. So she does all these clothes for me. And she was just like, "You're sending them out without underwear?" And so she started making, because that's, you know, when you get these like American Girl dolls and all these designer dolls, they come with like, at the very least, they come with underwear. So mom started making these little underwear sets. So now she goes out dressed at least a little bit. And I try and give people like a choice. Like I have, you know, all natural toned eyes. So if you have like a preference, like totally shoot me an email, you know, just like that kind of stuff. So it is kind of this new world for me, but I'm kind of getting used to it.
So it's like a build your own sort of thing.
It really is. Yeah. It's a whole world of people customizing, which is really exciting. I mean, you see so many incredible things people have put together and so many ways people have interpreted different sculpts that just blow your mind. I mean, you see something and you're like, well, this little resin doll with no paint on it. Like it looks like one thing, but then like really talented artists will really transform something. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty wild.
The clothing is crazy. Chris, later I'll send you some links to some really kinky BDSM outfits that they make for these things. I'm not kidding.
There's a whole range. You could get everything from like Galadriel to like dominatrix, whatever you want. So
wow,
yeah,
that's interesting.
And there's these Etsy stores where people sell like, you know, and so on my site I have listed like kind of what sizes to look for on Etsy, since she's like a very custom size. So And then I think at some point I'm going to start listing some clothes because I have so much at this point that Mom and I have made for cons and stuff. And so at some point I'll probably sell like little sets of stuff.
That is really cool.
Do you know who? Do you know who the majority of who's buying these? Are they male or female? Do you know that?
Because I'm still really small, people I think feel more comfortable kind of talking to me. So I've gotten kind of the feeling for my customers. It's mostly women.
Okay.
But I have had a couple of male customers. One I actually like was chatting and we were just really comfortable, just like, hey, like this is great. And we used to work retail. We were kind of talking about that. And I was like, well, from one retail gal to another, and he was like, actually, I am not a gal. So that, you know, sometimes you just don't know, but you're chatting and you're making friends, and then I thought it was really cool that a guy was buying my doll. Like,
yeah,
that's
that
so
is
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
I'm all about like breaking the gender norms, so I think that's really, really neat.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm getting one.
Guys in the hobby. Yeah, he's getting one.
They're really
So.
good. They're very good-looking figures.
Yeah.
The Instagram. Remind me, what is the Instagram?
On my Instagram, my like main personal kind of Instagram where everything goes is I am Ibo, IAMIBO, and then I have a Boudi doll account that you can kind of find through that.
Excellent. Okay, so people can go out there and check them out for themselves.
Yeah.
They are very, very well done.
Thank you.
Do you own a lot of these that are like in your personal collection?
They're super expensive, so I have to be really picky. But I do own 2 from my friend Josh, who does Pigeon Doll, which for people in the doll world, he's like very fashionable. He does these beautiful, like kind of very fashion forward dolls. And his a lot of times sell as the full set that I was kind of describing. Like he doesn't sell a lot of blank dolls because his vision is like so strong for, you know, what the doll is presented as, that people kind of want that vision. So yeah, his work is incredible. And I bought one of his that I just couldn't not have. And it was the most expensive thing I've ever bought. Like that. It was like, I was like, I'm not going to tell my husband.
Oh my God. Like you're talking
pay off the credit card quietly, you know?
Like in the thousands? Are we talking in the thousands?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's incredible.
I think she was $1,000.
Wow. Well,
I don't want to be like.
Yeah, it's either that or Hulkbuster Hot Toy, one or the other, right?
I know, right? Like people in toys, they get it, but people outside of toys, they're like, "Are you freaking serious?"
You know what's really funny about that? Totally, kind of like on a different topic. My parents love Hot Toys, and all they do is watch YouTube videos about Hot Toys. It's really bizarre. I go over their house all the time. Not only are they watching Gastlecast stuff, but they watch a lot of like people we know, their Hot Toy like unboxings. My parents just love them, and my parents love them so much that they buy them for myself and my son every once in a while. It's really weird. Like they have this weird obsession with it. It's strange.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
No, it's amazing, but it's just weird. Like I never expected that.
It's really awkward, like telling people who telling someone who doesn't know like what things cost and what things are.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I just spent $300 on this figure, and they're just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I see people all the time, like they complain about like the price of a hot toy or even that Baby Yoda, you know, the child, the sideshow statue. People are like, oh my God, $350. I'm like, only $350.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
there was a Forbes article saying that sideshow was charging too little. You know what I mean? Like, that thing's
like,
crazy.
The work that
People
goes
don't
into
understand.
it, like especially when you're on the other side. Like, I mean, Funko's on the lower end of prices, but and with my dolls and everything, so much work and emotional, like everything goes into making these things that you start to really understand why these prices are the way they are. So this doll that I bought for $1,000, like she's just like she's perfect. You know?
Of course, but it's something that you like, something that you want, right? And when I go to buy my Hot Toys, I'll see these high price tags or whatever, but it's hard to understand. On paper, you tell somebody, oh, this Thanos is $450, whatever. It isn't until they actually have it in their hands that they understand why the value is there, why it is the price
You can
tag.
feel it, especially with Hot Toys. You can really see and feel the quality.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like you pick up your first Hot Toy and you're done. Like, or at least I was. It was like the first one I saw. I think Reese gave me like a stormtrooper that he had and he just didn't need anymore because he has a many, and like I mean it was one of those things where like he just like had kind of this extra stormtrooper and didn't have extra hands and stuff because it had been passed on to him, and I just kind of got like, I just fell in love even with the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Just like you feel like how gorgeous it is, and the details are all perfect, and
it's unlike any other action figure or toy, in my opinion. And I'm referring to just likeness, the likeness of certain actors and things, just out of this world. Is insane.
The Bespin Leia to me is like, they got it.
Yes,
they got it. And
absolutely.
The Hoth Leia, I love my Hoth Leia, and then the Bespin Leia, I felt like they just, I don't know, I just felt like it was just even closer, and she's got a tough face, so I love the Leias.
It's so creepy because my Hot Toys that we have, when you look into their eyes and stuff, and I'm sure you guys know this, they look like they have a soul in them. And
they look real. They're like these tiny little like real things.
Yes. And my son, he said the other day to me, he looked at me, he looked at the eyes, and he goes, "Dad, this really looks like a little person I'm holding in my hands. It looks like a real person." And I was like, I know, it's really crazy. It's insane.
Cracks me up though. Do you ever hear these people that are like the face sculpts are like not great, meanwhile it looks exactly like them?
It's ridiculous.
I'm like, I could hand them an actual human person. They'd be like, nah, the face sculpt, not right.
The sculptors for Hot Toys are like world class, unbelievable. Like I can't.
I know.
Even handle it.
I know. They're remarkable.
I have one brief aside because you mentioned the child statue earlier, Alex. And I see the child, the 10-inch on your guys' desk. And I just want to do a shout out because I feel like our sculpt of the child was one of the best. I mean, you have this beautiful statue that was done by like the people who did the puppets, so that one's gorgeous and perfect. But for the kind of Hasbro, Mattel, Funko range, I thought that my coworker Ryan just really nailed the look. So I'm just really proud of that whole line of.
I agree. Yeah. It's brilliant. It looks great. I think I don't buy a whole lot of a whole lot of 10-inch Funko Pops, but this is one that I had to have. I just think
that's one great. That he was sculpting it, and I sit next to him, so I got to like spy on his, over his shoulder, like the whole time. Like every time he sculpts a new version of the child, I'm like, yeah, I need that one. I need that one. So even the 10-inch, I was like, I have no room in my house for like 10-inch pops because I got all these dolls and I got all these things. I was like, no, I need that one. Like, I need that 10-inch. So, he killed it. He nailed it. I'm so freaking proud of the work that he's done.
That has to be really exciting that you're in a room full of all of these artists doing all of this really, really cool work. I mean, it must be mind-blowing.
Truly, it's unbelievable when you're in a room full of like sculptors who are so good. That's how, I mean, we all also, I think it's unusual in some ways from what I've heard from different companies. Sometimes it's not like this. We are super collaborative. So, I do something like hard surface like that. There's like a red stormtrooper from that Star Wars game that I did.
Okay.
And the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like my first foray into that perfect Star Wars hard surface helmet. And I had my coworker Phil, who's freaking brilliant. He did the Millennium Falcon.
Wow.
But he is amazing. So, and he does a lot of the robots and stuff in general, but he does like almost all the droids for Star Wars stuff. And so I had him at my desk like couple times a day, like checking in, like, hey dude, like lay it on me, critique, like I need it. So we have these amazing artists around us, and we have the kind of nurturing community to be able to actually ask someone who's super busy to give feedback and help, and it's just like it's the best. It's better than school. It's better than anything. Like
That's awesome. Yeah.
I like that.
And not to mention, you get to see a lot of this early stuff. Like you're seeing people put things together, and like now you're seeing us sitting right here on my table. I mean, it has to be an interesting thing to know that your design like makes it to everybody, you know, into households across the friggin' world. I mean, that has to be a really crazy feeling.
I have family in France, and they send me pictures sometimes, like of Pops in a random little French village that they passed by, and I'm like, that's so freaking wild. Like, it's so weird. Like, I did that sculpt, and now it's in like some tiny gift shop in some tiny town in Europe. Like, it's totally weird. So
That's incredible.
yeah.
So to get back to your Boudi, you talked about like doll collecting and things. How big is the doll collecting world? Because that's something I'm completely unfamiliar with.
Yeah, I think it's hard to gauge. It's really big in Asia, really big in Japan, specifically, and Korea actually. Like, there are a lot of artists coming out of Korea, South Korea, that are just amazing. So it's in the United States, it's pretty big, but it, you know, I don't know, it's kind of hard to gauge. Like, I went to my first doll convention. It was like near Seattle.
Oh, no.
And it was like this ballroom and a DoubleTree, and I was like, and it kind of barely good. Like, it was like 3/4 of the ballroom really had tables, and you know, and there's a lot of empty space. So I was like, oh, like it's a really international collecting thing. So a lot of my customers like are overseas. Like, I just sent one to Spain, about to send one to the UK. I sent a couple to the UK. Like, so it's definitely not. It's a little harder to kind of gauge, I guess, because it's so international.
Sure.
There's enough collectors out there that they're buying my doll. So I'm like,
That's awesome. Now,
And the place in the market is good.
Your dolls are
Yeah.
beautiful, though. Why would someone not buy them?
They're definitely different. There's an aesthetic that's really kind of the aesthetic of a lot of ball joint dolls, and mine came out, and I was like, what did I do? Because I did something really different, and it feels, I think, a lot more. I was really looking at a lot of like American, like Pixar, like artists that I love here that are doing work for Disney, and I wanted to really reflect that, kind of like. And comic books, and that's kind of like my influence on it. And when I got her back, and I started putting her together, I realized that like she really kind of reflects for me like an American side of all the doll collecting, which is not as easy for people to kind of jump on that bandwagon. I think unless except I've been getting better with Alex's help at kind of showing people the vision, and that helps a lot, but. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. I think that making something different would be appealing. Like, if it's not the same as other doll designers.
right, because you don't want something that's going to be similar to everybody else. When I saw the picture of your doll, my first thought was, I've never seen anything like this before, and I consider that to be a good thing, because a lot of us collectors are out there trying to buy things that are, you don't always want the same damn thing. But yours really stands out. I think if you were at a show and you had your doll setting out and everybody else had their dolls out, I think yours would be a real standout. But that's just my opinion. I don't know a whole lot about dolls, but that's in my opinion.
Yeah, stand out. But with every convention, I've been getting a little bit better at honing to like the style that I'm trying to do, and and it's fun because I get to. My mom is an incredible like seamstress. She's good at everything, so it's annoying. But so she and I work together to create these kind of lines, like for the fashion, and we're kind of honing that vision more too. And it's been really, really fun to put it together and like see her kind of being more realized. So
Well,
Yeah, and I love seeing it at like customer photos. It's so joyful to like have like, because the first time you see somebody with your Funko Pop, you're like, this is incredible. But to have my own personal work that I concepted, did, cast, put my like blood, sweat, and tears into, to see that enjoyed by someone, it's just kind of like this extra feeling that is kind of, it's amazing.
That is really cool. One question that I had put on our list before I even took a look at, like, not your Instagram doll, like before I looked at your website and realized that you buy them piece by piece, right? Was what is
Wait, which ones?
your Boudi dolls?
So you buy the whole doll. Wait, what do you mean by piece by piece?
Like they don't have clothing or wigs or anything. So, and I didn't realize that that was a thing at all. I thought that dolls were just pre-made, and I thought that was really cool. But one of the questions was, what is her personality? And do different ones have different personalities? But it seems like every single doll that's out there that's yours would be different because everyone creates them.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of talking about that, because my mom, obviously, like, so we've had a lot of these talks, the two of us, because she loved when I was collecting dolls, like American Girl dolls have like the story and all the outfits, and I collected all the Madame Alexander, like Little Women dolls, and they have their, sets and everything. And Mom just kept asking me, like, what is her story? And I think that maybe, like, I'm going to try a couple different things over time. Like, with Boudi, I really kind of didn't imprint a lot of that onto her. And I think that I'm going to try something different and have one that is more set at some point.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of interesting to see, like, will people respond differently if she has kind of this really distinct personality, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm totally answering your question, but I've had a lot of, like, kind of meandering philosophical thoughts about it.
Well, you do have some figures that you made, and you did inject personality, like you did that Persephone.
Yeah, so for my own dolls, they do definitely gain like a little bit of something. So, and as I'm getting better at painting the faces too, like my favorite one right now, other than Persephone, which is a webtoon comic that I did like fan art for, basically, in this doll farm. I have this girl she's a tan doll. She kind of has these sassy eyebrows and like big luscious lashes. And to me, I'm like, ooh, she's like got it going. Like she's like the kind of girl that I really, aspire to be someday when I grow up. I don't know. So she's my favorite right now. She's got a lot of personality. And then I have one that's like really sweet, and she has freckles, and yeah.
So
you have a couple more you're working on too.
Yeah, I'm working on one for Alex that's gonna be badass.
Whoa.
I think. So, yeah.
Just like my girl here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We have a couple questions from the audience. So Jessica Nanez was asking.
No,
Nanez. What are you proudest?
I don't know her.
What are you proudest of creating?
What am I most proud of creating? Oh man, Jess. I don't know.
We'll come back next time. No.
Yeah, no. Give me that earlier, so I had to think. No. I'm probably most proud of creating this doll, just because it's so much work, and I have seen it through to the end, kind of to this point of sale. And I don't know if all artists relate to this, but I think a lot of artists are like me, where we kind of do a lot of things and don't finish a lot. So it's cool to have something that I can hold and be like, I did this and I finished it and it's done. And I committed to a thing. because that's part of it too. Is like you have sculpts and you can tweak them forever, and like you can make a painting, kind of keep going forever. To commit, to finalize it, to send it out there, to sell it, something that was really hard for me. So I think it's hard for a lot of artists to like put themselves out there like that. So that's probably what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that is a huge accomplishment.
Huge. Corey O'Neill asks, what is your favorite Funko Pop in your collection? Do you have your own like collection of Funko Pops?
Yeah. Oh man. Favorite one in my collection. God, there's so many good ones. And like I love the child, like, and I'll have probably all of them at one point. And I think those are going to be in the top. There are ones that like I love because there's an emotional, like there's a story behind it. And like I got to work with this artist, this concept artist, and it was so great. So like Lil Wayne was like I got to work with the concept artist that I normally don't get to work with because he does a lot of anime, and I don't do a ton of anime. And
wow.
So that was really fun. I have this great memory, and then I like Dune's my favorite book, so I got to work on like the Fade Alpha with the thong for New York Comic Con.
Awesome.
It stings blood.
I mean, it was just like so things like that. It's hard to choose one because I have different sculpts that I just kind of have memories with, and I think at first like my first pop I think was a Dalek, and
Exterminate.
Yeah, exterminate. Just because I love the sculpt so much, and she's still like my freaking idol. I can't believe I get to work with Nina, but you collect initially because you like the thing and you like the sculpt, but now because it's so like kind of entangled with remembering the process and remembering the conversations that were being had and remembering laughing about this certain aspect, like you kind of, it's hard to pick a favorite, but that's kind of how they get up there now for me as favorites.
That's awesome.
Sorry, that's a really like indirect, vague way of I didn't really
You sound exactly like me because I have a hard time saying which one my favorite is as well.
Yeah. And it depends on the day too. You might wake up one
really
morning
does.
and you're like, "Oh, I really, really like this pop," and then the next day you're like, "You know what? I changed my mind. I'm in a different mood. I like this one better."
Yeah.
Oh, I like rock candy.
Yeah.
My new favorite rock candy is my Batwoman rock candy.
Oh my gosh, Krista does those bombshell rock candies, and she's phenomenal. So those bombshell rock candies are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites too.
They're cute.
So during our interviews, we usually do 3 random questions. So we can do this where we start with Isabel, go to Alex, and then Heather and I will answer. So Isabel, of course, we'll start with you. 3 random questions completely not connected to anything we've talked about already.
Okay.
What skill do you wish you had?
I wish I could speak every language. That's what I want.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one.
But I thought about it a lot. I'm like, if I could live forever, I would learn every language.
That's awesome. I like that answer. Mine's really dumb now.
Hold on. I have a part B because of your answer. Do you know how to speak any language besides English?
Yeah. So I went to an elementary school that was an immersion program. So I used to be really rusty, so don't test me right now. But like I
was gonna say you have to answer in that
Central
language.
America, and I was fluent in Spanish. Right now I'm really rusty, but I can still understand almost 100%. And then I was almost fluent in Italian. I went abroad to Italy, and then now I'm learning. I know some French because I have family there, and trying not to be that idiot in Paris. So I try to learn French. I know some French. Like it's like, and I kind of, because of the Romance languages, they kind of all get mixed together. And then now I'm trying to learn Portuguese too. So
wow,
it's hard to fit it all in, but I'm trying.
You're doing a good job. I took German and I took Spanish, and I could maybe count to 10 or 20 in both.
German's hard. German's really hard. And it also helps, like, I did classical music and the immersion program. Like, it just, like, really early on, like my brain development, that's languages, and I can kind of get the Romance languages, so that helps. It kind of gives me a little bit of a cheat.
That is really, really neat.
How about you, Alex?
Skill. I wish I could do art things. I don't know. Like I'm telling you, this is like the pinnacle of Alex as an artist. Because like I love art. I collect art. I collect toys, and I'm especially into designer toys. I have art prints all over my wall. And I want all these. I want to be able to design something for myself, but I suck so bad at art that I can't get it. I will never be able to.
I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to rely on other people to create the beautiful things that I have, and I just want to. One day, I wish I could just do it myself.
You could do it. You can make a stick figure.
I'm gonna make this into like the most expensive designer toy ever.
Everyone will love it. Everyone will be able to relate.
Yeah.
How about you, Heather?
Oh, can you go?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
What skill would I like to have? Ooh. I would like to have photographic memory.
That would be fun.
Because I can't remember shit. And every day is a challenge for me. So I think it would be really good to be able to remember something.
I like
I'll
that.
be really good in fights, too, like in arguments. So, like, yeah, well, I remember what you said on this date at this time.
Yeah, you could be a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
I like that.
That would be good.
Heather?
Could be a curse, though. Could be a curse.
Yeah, it could be a curse. You see some real bad shit, and you're like, ah!
Never forget it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, a skill that I wish I had. I wish I were talented musically in some way. I don't really care like how, unless it was like a really lame instrument, but I guess all instruments sort of have a purpose.
Tambourine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tried beatboxing?
You could go like take lessons. I'm sure there's something local. You could try jazz or jazz band.
I probably could, but like, do I want to at this point? You know,
No.
like
It's like there's only so many hours in the week.
Right.
Drop a beat.
we
Beatbox
have-
right now. You never tried it. Try it.
That's a good point.
No, I don't. No.
And plus,
All right.
Alex, you could make money off of that beatbox.
There you go.
You could. You should.
we already have a kid here trying to play guitar and learn guitar. I don't think we need somebody else with an instrument in this house trying to play.
You know what? At least it's not drums.
You got that right. Absolutely.
The funny thing about Chris and I though is we each own our own guitar, but they just sit in a closet. Like
Yeah, they do nothing.
I tried to play it. I took a semester of guitar in the 9th grade. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to play, this is like going to be a thing. And I bought a guitar. I never played it. It's really pretty.
I have multiple guitars and I can't play, so I'm with you. I thought that was maybe just a me embarrassing thing, but we're in it together.
Yeah, we're all in it
a team.
together.
Alex, you got a guitar that you can't play?
I used to have a pink BC Rich. What was it? It was pink BC Rich bass guitar. It was terrible. And then I had an autographed Guar guitar. Oh, man.
Oh.
Wow.
And I lost it in Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Anything's lost.
I lost so much stuff in Hurricane Sandy, I can't even tell you, but one of them was my autographed Guar guitar that I got
Holy
at
shit.
San Diego Comic-Con 2009. They played a free concert at Comic-Con. I got to go, won a guitar in a raffle, lost it.
Jeez, dude.
Wow.
All I have is sad stories. Why do you guys keep bringing it over to me?
Horrible.
You're full of depressing stories.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Yeah.
we just have guitars
Down.
laying around that we don't play.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Okay, so
My
let's.
guitar is sentimental because it's the Gibson Dev, which was Graham Parsons' guitar. So that's my excuse.
Alex
But-
decided he's leaving.
I'm coming back.
Way too good a guitar for me to own. It's a Gibson, so it's like it sounds real good, but it's never tuned. And I can do
Chris, by the way, I'm waiting for my other friend Chris from Florida to send my copy back, but I have this for you.
Oh
that
my
I'm-
God.
Guar issue 1.
Oh my
Wow.
God, dude, that's awesome. Thank you.
I'm holding this one. My friend's got my other one, and if he never sends it to me, sorry, sucker, this is mine forever. So you're supposed to go get it graded, like, because I wanted him to like send my copy out to get graded by a grading company where they, they're used to doing like $1 million freaking Superman issues, and I'm like, no, I want him to grade my Guar comic. I want to put them through that. So I'm still waiting to get it back. But once I do, this is yours.
You're the man. I love this guy. Okay. What job could you never imagine doing?
God. Ask you first.
Me?
Yeah.
Anything other than what I do for a living now. I mean, plumbing, I couldn't, well, no, I've done plumbing actually. So no, that's a lot.
I'm a good plumber. I don't know if you knew.
You got the crack for it.
Go away.
Hey, you guys want to see? I'll show you. Yeah, no, I think just anything artistic. Like, I couldn't do what Isabel does. I couldn't be a musician. I couldn't do art professionally. That's what the most frustrating thing in the world is. I could never do that. Or did you mean like I would never do it because I wouldn't want to do it?
Well,
However
I guess
you interpret
I guess it could work both ways. Because the question is, what job could you never imagine doing?
No. You know what? I'm going to go with the negative aspect because I'm Debbie Downer. I could never, ever, ever be one of those guys who cleans out the
Porta potties.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's got to be the worst.
Yeah, I could never.
And you got to imagine, like, that's hard to get the smell off when you get home, That's tough. But somebody's got to do it, and, like, major respect.
Oh, yeah, big time.
All the respect.
Same with garbage, like, the garbage truck operators, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you're amazing. That's hard.
In New York, that's New York strongest. That's what we call them in New York. New York strongest.
Yeah.
You're not
I think
kidding.
for me, it would be, like butcher, animal slaughter of some kind.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
I eat meat, but like I shouldn't because I couldn't handle slaughtering. It's like I can eat it when it comes to me in a little.
I can eat it when it looks like meat, but when I think about what it is, I
get really sad.
Yeah. I'm an animal lover, but steak tastes really good.
I know, me too. And I love pork, but I love pigs. It's such a dilemma.
My friend Gwen is a farmer. Her and her family, they have a farm, and she's always she knows I love cows, and she's always posting these pictures of cows, and she sends me videos of the new, like she just had a new baby cow, and she's actually, her sister's like carrying it out of the forest because it like ran away, and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. But then she'll post a picture. She's like, oh, we had 3 new babies born on the farm, and like, oh yeah, these 2 are dairy, but this one's getting studded for beef. And I'm like, why?
Man.
It's a baby. It's like this big, and she's already telling me it's gonna die.
I'm so glad we have amazing farmers, but that's something that I would find really, really, really hard. I would be like, this one's too cute.
I can attach to every
all of them.
Yeah, I don't even like going fishing because I feel I feel bad for the fish.
I know.
And I'm
they
like,
flop
you can't
around and then they look so sad.
Was that going to be yours, Heather Fisherman?
No. Mine, I couldn't do anything in the medical field. I have a thing about vomit. I just can't.
No, I feel that. That's a good one.
Yeah. The other day, we were eating dinner, and Chris's son said, "I don't feel good." And like when a little kid says that, vomit is about to come. And I was like, oh my God. And I thought for sure he was going to throw up. Thank goodness he did not.
He kept it together.
He kept it together. Things came out the other end, thank goodness. And everything was
Thanks for painting that picture, Heather.
Everything was fine. But I was having a panic attack thinking about the fact that he could potentially throw up.
Are you like an empathetic puker? Like if he threw up, you would too?
No. I haven't thrown up since I was 6 years old, so I think that's why.
Knock on wood, Heather, hurry.
Yeah, I should. I have been drunk to the point of I probably should have thrown up all of the alcohol and more, like days worth of just things, because that's how intoxicated I have been, like before, years and years ago. But I just haven't. And I think that it just scares the shit out of me. Like, I think I'm scared. I just have a phobia. I
You're
don't
petrified
like it.
of it.
I don't like the sound.
Terrible.
I don't like the smell. I don't like the look. I don't think I like the feeling.
I mean, it's a lot not to like, so I get it.
Yeah, it's
But
gross.
the phobia, that's a real thing. Like, people have a phobia of that, so
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you have a legit phobia.
I had a fun experience once. Me and my girlfriend were being driven by my friend's wife. So it was my friend's wife driving. My friend is wasted.
Oh,
Me and Annie are in the
no.
back.
Oh no.
She's driving. He's like, oh, and then he throws up.
Oh.
He throws up in the car. She stops and runs out of the car.
That's what I
She
would
stops-
do.
No, I'm not even kidding. She stops, and then me and Annie are in the car, and then he leaves the car. So it's just me and Annie in the back of the car. Both of the fucking front seat doors are open, and we're like, what is happening right now?
Oh my god.
That is a phobia. You'd probably do the same thing.
I absolutely would. I told Chris, we were actually seated outside somewhere, and I told Chris we had to drive back home. I told Chris, I said, if this happens, I'm taking the car because who knows if it's gonna happen again, and you're gonna have to like find a way to get home. I just
She wasn't going to do it.
I can't.
She was not down for
That's
that.
where I draw the line.
Yeah, So what happened?
What do you mean? I had to get into the driver's seat and drive this car.
Oh my God!
So where did your friend and
They-
her
they-
husband-
No,
just
we
left.
were like blocks from their house.
Oh, so they just ran all the way home and you
okay.
drive the car.
Like she ran home, like it was chasing her, like the puke was going to come to life and chase her. And then he got out and he just started. I don't know why he left. I mean, he didn't have to drive; he just needed to stay in the car. But he left, so then I ended up driving.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you don't really care about that, because I would have
No.
gotten the hell out. I would have ran with them.
No, I hate it, but I mean, I was like, because I don't drink, I don't get drunk, so I'm like, I'm dead sober. I guess, I'm the only one who can really handle this right now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's me. I stopped drinking years and years ago. I think the last time I drank was my bachelorette party, which was last like
It's a
April
good time
or
to
May.
drink.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, everyone was like peer
And she
pressuring
drank
me.
2 beers and got
No,
wasted.
I
It
didn't
was
drink
ridiculous.
beer. Shut up.
It was 2. No, it was like
wasn't.
1
Hey,
drink and a
Chris,
shot, wasn't
what-
it?
Can I tell the fucking story, or are you just going to tell me what I had to drink that night? You were too drunk. You
Easy.
don't even know what you had
Actually,
to
no,
drink
I
that
stayed
night.
sober that night.
No, you did not.
I did. I was actually really.
That is a lie.
Okay, no, I mean, I had a couple of drinks, but I didn't get drunk, is my point.
Maury Povich says that is a lie.
That-
He says, Mom can't be afraid of vomit because I do it all the time.
I'm okay with animal vomit. I'm not okay with people.
What?
I hear the sound, like it'll be like 2 a.m, I'll hear the sound, and I'm like, I scoop her up.
Yep. I'd have an issue
Yeah.
if it were in my bed. No, but we had a joint bachelor and bachelorette party. And so it was just Chris and I, all of our friends, we just went out and everyone kept saying, "Can I buy you a drink? Can I buy you a drink?" And I'm like, I don't really drink. It makes me feel like crap. Like, I get a headache almost instantly. I have a headache all day the next day, probably the day after. My stomach sometimes hurts. It's just, I don't like
Yeah.
it. So,
That's like the beauty of getting older, right? I'm like, what's the point?
yeah.
I don't want to feel bad tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that was the last time I drank. I had, I would say, 3/4 of a drink about this size. It was a mixed drink. About half of one this size. And then my sister, I don't even know why she did this because she knows I don't drink. I don't like it. This is what, like, I'm telling you, I thought I was going to die. I see her. All of us are outside. She is coming from the bar. She's like walking towards us. She has a tray in her hand, this big tray of like
I
20
remember
or
that.
25 shots. She's like a
Jesus.
hostess or something. And they're like the bomb shots, so I'm assuming it was like Red Bull or some type of energy drink and like, I don't know, Jägermeister or
That's the worst because you get like sugar, caffeine, alcohol.
It's just a mix
like
of bad things.
I
Yeah,
took
it's
that
gonna make
shot.
you feel real good.
5 minutes later, I was like, everything was spinning, and I'm
Ugh.
like looking around,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm gonna
Well, that's
throw
a
up.
successful bachelorette party.
I guess. I just had my eyes. I was like, okay, if I have to throw up, there's a plant over there. There's a trash can over there, but it's a little further, but I could probably make it. And I'm like trying, like, I had like 3 people talking to me, and I'm trying to focus on the conversation, but the whole time I'm like, trash can. Like, but I didn't. I did not. I held it together, but
Like laser focused. Like I see you, trash can.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, trash can. Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Terminator.
That's all I'm hearing right now. The word trash can.
I hate drinking. I don't do it. So I would feel horrible in that situation because I'm terrified of vomit, but like logically, I'm the only one that would be able to drive. And I'd be next to a pile of
Drugged
vomit.
out. Yeah.
I couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
You're just not down with that.
That is stuff of nightmares. I am so sorry.
No, it was literally me and my passenger was puke. My passenger was puke because Annie couldn't sit there because she just had to sit in the back.
That is
So it was like an
awful.
Uber with puke in the front.
Ugh.
Ugh. My answer was probably in the medical field. I think that would be my number one. But my answer before I heard you say that, because I didn't think about that, was working at like a fast food joint. I've never done that in my life.
Oh, I
and
couldn't.
I don't think I could pull that off. Those people, they deserve medals.
So
It looks crazy in there sometimes.
Here's my thing, and it's another thing. It's a weird way of thinking, I think. But in order to go to work, you got to shower, you got to look good, right? But working at a place like that, you're going to come home smelling like French fries or a sandwich or whatever you create, and you got to shower again. And like I noticed yesterday,
Fish market would be really hard.
ugh,
Garbage truck would be really hard. The septic tank thing would be really hard.
ew.
Like anything that like stays with you like that. But yeah, like the fish market was my second thought too, like for similar reason of like that smell just like stays.
Mm-hmm. But on the plus side, if you worked at one, you would probably be like a week in and then never notice the smell of fish.
Maybe, but everyone else would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a really bad thing because you just walk around smelling like fish all the time, and you know.
Maybe it would be really good, like only your true friends.
Yeah.
Weed out a lot of people.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to wear a shirt that says, "I work at a fish market. This is not me."
Or like deal with it, bitch.
All right. So the
God.
final question, the final random question. What's the
Okay.
ugliest part of the human body?
I'm trying to think of the sculptor.
Does it matter which type of human?
No.
I don't know. I don't know if there really is like the ugliest part of the body, because like as a sculptor, like it's really fun. Like every time I'm like, ugh, feet. But then I like have to like get into it, and I'm like, oh, feet can be kind of cool.
Feet
But-
are pretty cool. I
Feet
mean,
can be pretty cool.
they can be pretty gross too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like least favorite, but I don't know.
I've got 2 answers.
You got 2 answers?
Yeah, I've got 2.
Okay.
Okay.
You can take mine because I'm like I don't know.
Okay, so Isabel, it sounds like you are not super duper into feet. So I'm gonna go with a big toe
Okay, that's a good one. Mhm.
because
It's like
often,
the thumb of the foot.
yeah, but like it's not useful like a thumb of a hand. I mean, like maybe it
But
helps
it's like
you keep
uglier
balance.
and less useful, yeah.
Yeah. So mine, I don't know about everybody's, but mine always, no matter what, has a callus on like the inner side, just like a small one.
Yeah.
A lot of big toes are hairy. I'm not going to talk
Mhm.
about what mine looks like, whether it's hairy
Checking
or not.
mine.
You guys don't.
Mine
need
are
to know.
not. I'm really happy right now.
Achievement unlocked.
I just checked. It was like, oh, is that something that's come with like age? You know, like 'cause I think my fingers are still good, but every once in a while, as I turned 31, and I was like, it's starting now. Just
It does. It
aging
starts right at
process.
31.
On the
31.
nose.
That's what it.
Yeah. Big toes are pretty ugly, and sometimes like people have weird nails too.
Yeah,
No,
I've
I'm a
lost
nail
one
biter.
Toenails.
because I ski, so I've lost like almost all of my toenails at some point.
Oh my God.
So my toenails are pretty fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah, toenails are very
So,
weird.
woo!
A lot of times they can be like thick, like really thick. Like I
Oh.
We'll just like graphically
I
describe.
think we're all agreeing on the foot thing.
No, that is like how it's be kind of like ridged, like those like the toenails that you've lost get all weird.
Oh.
yeah, toes can be pretty.
I feel like we
gross.
should all end up on feet for this answer by the end of our list. The way that Heather's describing it.
Everyone turn against feet.
Yeah.
Well,
That's our new mission.
so that was Isabel's answer, okay? But
Okay.
my answer is armpits. I don't
Ooh,
like
that's a good one.
armpits.
Yeah, they're
And-
just like an awkward, sort of weird spot.
Yeah, they're very weird. Some are hairy, some you shave, some are wet, some are very
okay,
dry.
Heather.
Some have like wrinkles.
I just think like it's just an awkward transition.
Yes. Like why like sweat here? Why not other place? And
Because
why,
it's closed.
Because it's closed over.
But why the hair then?
Well, because
I don't
the
I
hair
don't know.
is there to collect the stink.
Ew.
Listen, you ever see Mary Catherine Gallagher with the
Yeah.
superstar?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
That's
That's
right.
my favorite.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
I do not dislike armpits at all. That's not something I dislike. It's funny.
I feel like Alex, you are very celebratory of the body, of the human body.
Yeah, absolutely. But this whole foot discussion has got me.
Just do next week. We've accomplished our mission.
You're gonna change this to the footless cast.
I mean, I need them, and I want to have feet, but
Gastlecast. We hate feet together.
We hate feet together. That's right.
Ugh.
I personally don't like the back of the elbow, that weird
little, like,
flap of skin
weird.
that's back there.
Yeah,
I'm not a
they're
huge
ugly.
fan of
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's not
Nah.
very good looking. Yeah, it's just like a
Yeah.
weird little knot.
Look at it.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like,
It's hard.
I have a
and,
scar
like,
on mine.
What do you call that? Like wrinkly? Why is it wrinkly?
Yeah, because it has to like stretch, but also be durable.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to like lean on stuff.
Alex,
It's sort of like multi-purpose, you know. It's working hard. This elbow grows.
Yeah,
in.
look at that. It's keeping it together.
Oh,
You know,
also,
it's got to be able to stretch.
Also,
Have
knees.
one salt though.
Knees are
Knees
bad.
are weird.
Heather's knees, when she is standing straight up, her knees look like screaming children. It's really bizarre.
Oh, don't say
I'll have to
that.
share. I'll have to share a photo on Instagram to show you. They look like screaming
Instagram?
kids like this. Yeah, I'll have to share it to everybody and let them know that's what she got their.
You put
I
them
zoomed
the
in on her
DMs.
knees one time and I
Oh
like
my
kind of
God,
cut
I'm
it
gonna
out and
need
sent it.
photographic evidence of this.
You have to
later.
see them. They're incredible.
Is it like what is that? One of those paintings that like you stare at and you lean back and you see like a face?
No,
So-
no,
Or a
whatever.
Mozart like test or something like that.
No,
Yeah.
you see it immediately.
no. You see it immediately. It looks like Halloween special effects. It's weird.
Hey, again, I'm gonna need photographic proof.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
have to-
can't wait
okay.
for
I'll
this
have to get a-
picture.
I'll have to get a
Oh
picture
my
I
together.
feel slightly violated.
Alex, what was your answer?
Yo, I mean, you got me on feet. You know, like I think balls look weird, but
Yeah.
you
I
know,
thought
but
kind of my first thought, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to like say that.
yeah, I mean, balls are weird, but you know, now the foot thing, I don't know. I think at this point, I'd rather look at balls than feet.
Balls. This is a cool discussion. This is an intellectual discussion.
So I'm landing on feet. I think I've gotten over my distaste for balls because of this foot discussion. Now I just want to look at them all day.
By the way,
Good.
Yeah.
we have
I
Jason
know you at
Rowe.
all.
Jason Rowe is in the comment section. He just showed up. He said he didn't realize what time it was. So Jason, no big deal. Go back and watch the
Jason Rowe.
Jason Rowe. Go back and watch the replay. We had some really fun stuff happening here tonight,
A whole lot of
especially
fun.
about balls and feet. If you
Yeah,
didn't already
but
hear
yeah.
that.
you made that.
And then some
so-
bachelorette stories.
And bachelorette
Yes.
stories. And Heather's ghost knees, which is a
Yeah.
lot of fun too. Isabel, thank you very much for coming on with us. We've been doing this.
Thank you so much.
We've been doing the interview series for a little while. We started out just kind of interviewing fellow collectors, and now it's turned into interviewing people who are in the world of toys and collectibles, and it's really a whole lot of fun. And you kind of diving deep and explaining some of your Funko stories and things. It's very interesting. I don't think I've ever talked to somebody who actually worked on Funko products. We had Reese on here one time, but he really couldn't get into it. So we greatly appreciate you coming on and talking to us about all that stuff.
Yeah,
and also your own product, Boudi. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm never going to say it right.
I don't care what you call me, as long as you call me.
That's
That's the RuPaul motto, along with, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get that? No, I really thank you guys for having me, because, I'm just a nobody artist, so it's kind of like, oh, cool, I get to be on this cool interview, and it's fun.
No, I think you might think that, but I think a lot of us out here who are collectors of Funko and collectors of toys and stuff, we actually, I was thinking about this during this interview, that it would be really cool if they did. I remember years ago they did little YouTube videos on some of the artists. Reese was one of them. That would be cool if they went back and started to do that again, of course, after things kind of calmed down a little bit with the pandemic. That would be really neat to get kind of the artist spotlight. I like that.
Yeah. If you go back into the archives, Reese and I have a very awkward opening up our, I think, Street Fighter or something, Savage World figures. You can find that in the archives.
Awesome.
That sounds fun.
But yeah, I think those interviews go over really well, and with everything that's happened, I think there's a lot of kind of re-examination of how Funko is kind of putting ourselves out there, and there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that comes out of kind of silver lining. I hate to say that, because this has all been horrible, and a lot of people are suffering and a lot of bad things are happening, but at the same time, I'm kind of excited a little bit about this potential marketing direction, and I think that there's going to be a little more focus on sort of creativity at Funko, because that's one of our big strengths. So
cool. That's awesome.
So many amazing artists.
Yeah. We can't wait to see what you do also with your doll and also with Funko. So
yeah, maybe new dolls later. I have one teaser. I just got the wax mold images from the factory. I'm working on a vinyl doll. So
awesome.
She has a full personality and blurb on the back of the box and a grumpy cat, and yeah.
She has a grumpy cat.
She has her cat's name. She's a little witch. Her name is Rune, and she comes on she's gonna have 2 outfits to start with, and then the cat is named Beelzebub, or Bub for short. So,
my God.
And he's really cute.
That's awesome.
But that's kind of my. It's fun to experience on all levels, because Funko, you experience the sculpting. Boudi, I got to experience resin casting, and then this vinyl stuff has been a totally new world. So to experience all those different sections of it. So yeah.
Awesome. And
cool.
And Alex, thank you for coming on with us as well. It's always good to have
I just wanted to hang out with everybody.
Thank you, Alex.
That's literally what I wanted to do.
Alex helps my life run. So
he's a good
And don't forget, you have a giveaway maybe coming up soon.
yeah, he's helping me with that. He helps me. I text him all day, every day,
That's awesome.
Alex.
That's awesome. Alex, anything that you want to shout out while you're here?
Oh, you know what? If anyone hasn't signed up for Sideshow Con, sign up for Sideshow Con. Because I'm going to California in the midst of the apocalypse to have fun with Sideshow Con.
You're risking your life.
Risking my life for toys. Just remember that. Just remember that. My parents would never want to hear that. My parents were like, skip it out, skip it, toys to grow up.
Just be like, I guess this is the natural progression for you.
Yeah, so I'm literally risking my life for toys. So yes, everyone who hasn't signed up for SideshowCon, sign up for SideshowCon.
Excellent.
That's side.show/con.
Excellent. Yeah, and you get a lot of you get like a $5 like coupon thing and a whole bunch of other stuff.
You get rewards codes, you get coupons, you get entered in a contest for the child. It's going to be good.
Awesome.
That
Ooh,
is
okay,
really
I'm definitely
cool.
signing up.
Yeah,
There you go.
I mean, it wasn't before, but
I'm sort of upset at you for saying that because, like, I wanted that to be a secret, so I had a better chance to win things.
Oh, sorry.
That's a good point. Now
Sorry.
we have competition.
So sorry.
No, it's really
So
cool.
win this.
I'm really excited to see what's coming.
Deal with it.
All right, everybody.
so
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching, and those who hung out to the end. Just a quick note before we leave: we hit 2,500 subscribers tonight, which
What?
is crazy. Yeah. So
like in the middle of this.
in the middle of this, so we hit
Oh,
2,500.
wow.
So we
You're
will
welcome.
be giving.
Yeah, thank you.
It was all because of you two. We'll be giving away a Luke Skywalker Hot Toys, which we've been talking about for a long time. So Luke
Oh my
Skywalker
gosh.
from A New Hope, great figure. So we'll be doing that giveaway very soon. I don't know when we're going to do the giveaway. My plan was to do it the night that we hit 2,500, but I'll be honest, I don't have enough time to put anything together right now. So probably sometime by the end of this week. So
I'll help you. I won it.
all you have to do to win this guy is subscribe to the Gastlecast channel. That's all you have to do.
Well, there's probably going to be a second piece to it.
It'll
like,
be more or less tune
show
in for the
up
live. That's it.
or-
Yep.
yeah.
Tune in for the live.
And-
That'll probably be it.
You have to post
Share
pictures of
something.
you kissing your twin brother or sister.
Oh, hey, I like that. Or no, a picture of them with Heather's weird ghost knees behind them. That would be
Go
great too.
away.
Yes.
No, I was gonna say we have to involve the ghost knees.
Yeah, the ghost knees have to be there.
Heather's, you have to
You have to
Photoshop
do that.
Heather's ghost knees kissing each other.
That would be the greatest thing
This
ever.
is my social media. He runs my social media, so you can tell like how good he is. Like he's really good.
Yeah, it's a great. I have great ideas.
He's brilliant.
Really
He's helping me write my giveaway, so you know. But I can
Yeah.
lend him out.
Yeah, I need pictures of Heather's knees for all giveaways now.
It's going in
All-
mine.
Isabel,
All
is there
angles.
any way you can make a doll that's based on Heather's knees by any chance? Could you put the weird
Absolutely.
ghost
It was like
knees?
my next project. I was gonna ask you guys, like,
I'll
is
send,
this licensed? Can I do this?
I'll
The
send you
Boudi Tiny Ghost crossover.
Right.
Tiny Ghost knees.
tiny ghost knees. Yeah.
Tiny ghost. What if
Yes.
it's a tiny ghost, but it's just the knee? I'll sculpt it. It'll be great. Reese will love it.
Yeah.
It looks like balls. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Thank you for
Reese would
tuning in.
really love it, actually. If
Well,
it
The
was
balls
somebody
or
needs-
the ghost knees?
One of us knows Reese very well. Somebody needs to go let Reese know about this right now.
I'll text him.
Guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. Isabel, you're awesome. Alex, you're awesome. I would
You
love to
guys are
have you.
so great.
I would love to have you guys back
Thank
on again in the
you.
future. We'll get back together and maybe hang out some other time.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you,
Absolutely.
guys.
All right, later, guys. See ya.
Good
Later.
night.
Deal with it.